Catholic Church, also known as the Roman Catholic Church, is the world's largest Christian church with 1.2 billion members. The Catholic hierarchy includes cardinals and bishops and is led by the Bishop of Rome, known as the Pope. The Church teaches that it is the one true church divinely founded by Jesus Christ. The Catholic Church is Trinitarian and defines its mission as spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ, administering the sacraments, and exercising charity. Catholic worship is highly liturgical, focusing on the Mass of Divine Liturgy, in which the sacrament of the Eucharist is celebrated. As we dig deeper into the Catholic belief, we will show you the truth that lies behind the Roman Catholics. We will show to you what are the facts and fallacies concerning the people that gives their faith into the Church, and what is the stance of the Church in facing the controversies.
Saint is the one who has been recognized for having an exceptional degree of holiness, sanctity, and virtue. While the English term saint is originated in Christianity, historians of religions now use the term in more general way, to refer to the state of special holiness that many religions attribute to certain people.
The Catholic Church teaches that it does not make or create saints, but rather recognizes them. In the Church, the title saint refers to the person who has been formally canonized by the Catholic Church and is therefore believed to be in heaven.
Saints, individuals who we venerate. There are saints that we canonize because of miracles they show. But there are saints who also defy the law of nature, like Father Luigi Orion, who have been dead for decades, but the body is still intact and preserved. Also, Saint Bernadette, dead for almost 100 years now, but the body is still fresh as if alive. After a necropsy, Saint Bernadette shows that the liver is still well preserved, still bleeding, and also it was discovered that she didn't undergo any form of mummification.
A miracle is an event not ascribable to human power or the laws of nature, and consequently attributed to a supernatural, especially divine agency. Such an event may be attributed to a miracle worker, saint, or religious leader. A miracle is sometimes thought of as a perceptible interruption of the laws of nature. Others suggest that God may work with the laws of nature to perform what are considered miracles. Theologians say that with divine providence, God regularly works through created nature, yet is free to work without, above, or against it as well.
Miracle. We see it every day, experience it, and also feel it. The time we wake up is a miracle, but there are certain miracles to which some only happen to a specific person at an expected time. But most of the miracles that occur is through the workings of Jesus Christ. Example of the works and miracles are shown by Jesus Christ. Blind that can see, the multiplication of the bread, and also there are certain miracles that Christ makes, like raising San Lazarus from the dead.
Demonic possession is held by many belief systems to be the control of an individual by a malevolent preternatural being. Descriptions of demonic possessions often include erased memories or personalities, convulsions, fits and paintings as if one were dying. Other descriptions include access to hidden knowledge and foreign languages, drastic changes in vocal annotation, and facial structure, the sudden appearance of injuries such as scratches, bite marks, or lesions, and superhuman strength.
Exorcism is the practice of evicting demons or other spiritual entities from a person or an area they are believed to have possessed. Depending on the spiritual beliefs of the exorcist, they may be done by causing the entity to swear an oath, performing an elaborate ritual, or simply by commanding it to depart in the name of a higher power. The practice is ancient and part of the belief system of many cultures and religions.
Fear is defined as a feeling of agitation and anxiety caused by the presence or imminence of danger. And whether it's a ghost, spirit, or an entity, they all feed on it. Take Maurice here. He's a French-Canadian farmer, had nothing more than a third-grade education, yet after he was possessed, spoke some of the best Latin I'd ever heard, sometimes backwards. He'd been molested by his father, who had also tortured him repeatedly. The dark spirit made its home in this man.
Now, if you look into his eyes, you can see him tearing blood. And like that, an upside-down cross started to appear from within his body.
All right, Drew, you can hit the lights.
Did you personally perform the exorcism?
No, I'm not authorized, but I've assisted on many. See, an exorcism can be very dangerous, not only for the victim, but for anyone in the room.
So what happened to Maurice?
Well, he tried to kill his wife, but instead he shot her in the arm and then he turned the gun on himself. Maurice had a very troubled life, with little to live for, and not even an exorcist could bring him back. Which brings us to the 3 stages of demonic activity: infestation, oppression, and possession. The infestation, that's the whispering, the footsteps, the feeling of another presence, which ultimately grows into oppression. The 2nd stage. And this is where the victim, and it's usually the one who's the most psychologically vulnerable, is targeted specifically by an external force. Breaks the victim down, crushes their will, and once in a weakened state, leads them to the 3rd and final stage, possession.
Some of us may think that the Catholic Church is a perfect institution, but despite this, it is continually bombarded by controversies, issues, and problems that really test the foundation of the Church. Some of us still within watch documentaries about the life of Jesus Christ. Some of this is the relationship of Jesus Christ with Mary Magdalene, the issues on the discovery of the Gospel of Judas, and many more. We'll find the truth about this.
We heard it in the news, radio, television, and papers. A priest allegedly involved in sexual harassment. This is really shocking to some of us, but let us not generalize this. In this video, we will show to you that is the stance of the church in this issue, and what are the steps that the church are taking to eradicate this.
Controversies. The church that is always defending itself from. Despite of the controversies thrown, specifically the release of the Da Vinci Code, the church remains to withstand all of this and remains a strong institution and a religious icon in the world.
Despite of different issues and controversies experienced and faced by our beloved priests and religions, the people should remain strong in their faith as well as in their trust in the church. By being understanding, loving, and kind, and merciful, like Jesus, who is really merciful to us. This year of our faith, is an invitation for all of us to continue being faithful to God in words and actions, especially by receiving the different sacraments, like the sacraments of reconciliation and the sacrament of the Eucharist. Each one of us is being challenged to have a strong personal relationship with God. After all, it is our relationship with Him or with our God that we really attain real salvation. and glorification. First of all, temptation leads us to sin. But then temptation is really always there in our midst. Whoever we are, wherever we go. But then, it is always a challenge to us to really avoid the temptation of evil by being strong in our faith, by being strong in our prayer. Especially our relationship with God, by being faithful, especially in receiving the sacraments of reconciliation in the sacrament of the Holy Eucharist. And we have to be aware also of people, situations, circumstances, or activities that we are engaged with that somehow lead us to temptation, thus commit a particular sin, so that we can also avoid them and do something about it with the help of God, His grace. And we have to pray unceasingly. We have to pray every moment of our life.